students, welcome to Nagesh Karasgi Orchid School channel. Myself Priya teacher, and today I am going to teach you science subject for class 7. So children, in our previous session we started lesson number 13, motion and time. So in that session we learned about that what is mean by slower and what is mean by fast, or slow and fast. So we discussed that some objects are having a slow speed and some objects can move faster. Okay. So that we discussed in our previous session, and also we discussed that what is mean by speed, and we saw that what is the formula of speed. Okay. So can you tell me that which formula is given in your textbook for speed? Yes, correct. So that formula it is given in textbook, it is for the speed, it is speed is equal to, so whatever distance is covered by an object and divided by its time, or whatever time is required there. So this is the formula of speed. So I will write here and we will discuss this point in our today's session, and also our next point also we will discuss in our today's session. So let us start lesson number 13, motion and time, and whatever part was remaining in our last session, that we will discuss here. So I will write formula here first. Speed is equal to total distance covered divided by required time, or total time taken. So let us recall that what we discussed in our last session to understand this formula of speed. So we discussed that some objects can move fast and some objects cannot move fast. Okay. So that we discussed, and also we discussed some examples, that it means if you will start your bicycle with a bus, then bus will go fast and cycle will not go fast, or it will go slow. And one more example also we discussed, that suppose a march past is there or a running race is there. At that time some students will reach at the point of 100 meters in a 5 minutes first, and some students cannot reach there in a 5 minutes. Okay. So these examples we discussed in our previous session. To understand this speed formula, we also again discuss these examples. Okay, or we have to take help of these examples. So one more thing it is given, that when there is a car is moving from A point to the B point. So I am going to draw here. Suppose this is a Solapur. And from this Solapur, a car is going to reach there to Pune, and suppose here it is a car. So if suppose this car is going to Pune from Solapur, so we know whatever distance is there. So by road this car is going, okay, car is always going by road. Okay. So no, it is not going by the we can say any other way. So this is a road from Solapur to Pune. So it should have to complete this distance from Solapur to Pune in a particular time. So we suppose what it is given, that it is, this car is having a speed. So what speed is given here? This car can go 50 kilometers per hour. So this we can write in a scientific way. So what it is given, that so it means a car can go 50 kilometer in 1 hour. So if suppose this car can go in 1 hour 50 kilometer. So if suppose this Pune is Solapur to Pune, it is a distance, whatever distance it is having, so it is having a distance of 4 hours. We know whenever we are going with by bus or by car, we will start or we will move at 9 from Solapur, we can reach at 1 or 1:30 or 2. Sometimes because of traffic, what happens there? So we reach there at 4 in a 4 hours or in a 4:30, or we can say 4.5 hours. Okay. So it means suppose this car is having this much speed. So it this can move like this. So what will the distance we see here? So 50 kilometers. If 1 hour it is taking, then in 4 hours what will be the distance? So in 4 hours it means we have to multiply it by 4. So it will be the 200 kilometer. So this car can go in 4 hours 200 meter. So suppose this distance is 200 kilometer. So distance from Solapur to Pune, it is 200 kilometer. Then this car can be reached from Solapur to Pune in a 4 hours. So if you will start from 9 am, then it will reach at 1 pm here. Okay. So at 1 pm it will reach there in a Pune. So like this we can calculate the speed of any object or speed of any vehicle. So whenever there is a example it is given, so suppose this car can move 50 kilometer in a 1 hour. So I am going to rub this because you don't have to confuse. Okay. So see, suppose this car is going 50 kilometer in a 1 hour, then this car is not having a constant speed. Okay. With higher speed, with slower speed, this car can be moved for a 1 hour. So, okay. So this 50 kilometer can be covered with higher speed sometimes, with slower speed sometimes. So if there is a no constant speed, it means that car is moving from Solapur to 10 kilometer in a particular time, 10 minutes only, then again 10 kilometers in a 10 minutes, then again 10 kilometers in a 10 minutes. Not like this, it is not moving like this. Okay. Sometimes that car can be go faster, sometimes it can be go slower. But what is the last point, or what is the exact meaning here? So that car should reach to the 50 kilometer point after a 1 hour. It means if we decided that this car can move for car can go, or it is having a higher speed of 50 kilometer, okay, which is covered in a 1 hour. It means suppose it is started at 9 am, then it should have to reach at 50 kilometer distance after 1 hour. It means at 10 am. Have you got it? Suppose this formula it is given, or this is decided that this car can go 50 kilometer in a 1 hour. So it means if suppose it is started at 9 am. So though it is going faster or slower. So it is not needed here. Okay, so don't think about this. So though that car is going faster or this car is going to slower, from A to point it should have to cover 50 kilometer. So from A to B, if it will reach at 10 am. Okay, if it is given 50 kilometer per hour, then when it will start from A and at 9 am, then that car should have to reach to the B. What distance it should have to cover? So it should have to cover, or it is covering 50 kilometer distance in 1 hour. Okay. So when it will start at 9 am, so after 50 kilometer it should have to be 10 am there only. Okay. So this is decided decided speed of this car, and that is why it is given here. What is the definition of speed? So in your textbook it is given that speed, we shall use the term speed for average speed. So this speed term, it is also used as a average speed. Why we can use this average speed? Because if we are saying that this car is having 50 kilometer, can go 50 kilometer in 1 hour. So sometimes it will happen that exactly 10 am it will not reach. So after 10 to 10:15, or sometimes it will reach at 9:30. Okay, so it can be happen. That is why we can say that average speed. So whenever we are going to decide, so that car can be move faster or slower. So at that time we can decide that average, we can say it as a average speed. So that definition it is given that speed is the total distance covered divided by the total time taken. So like this we can define this. So now speed is equal to total distance covered and divided by total time of taken. So whenever we are going to calculate or measure the speed, we should have to use this formula. So if suppose this example we will take, so what will be the answer here? So what will be the speed here? So we should have to calculate this. So what is the speed of this car when it will reach to the Pune? So see, so it at 9 to am. So total distance covered, it is a 200 kilometer, and it is divided by total time, whatever time it is taken. It started 9 and it reached at 1. So 4 hours are there. So 4 hours are there. So what will be the speed? Again it will be 40 kilometer per hour. Okay. So this is a 50 kilometer per hour. So what will be the speed here? Speed will be the 50 kilometer per hour. So like this we can calculate speed of any object or speed of any vehicle. So have you got this? Okay, hope you understood this. So let us move to our next point. So next point, it is in everyday life we seldom. So there is a box is given which is having a more information or extra information in your textbook, that is in everyday life we seldom find objects moving with a constant speed over a long distances or for long durations of time. See, one more time I am going to read this. So whatever it is given, so in everyday life we seldom find objects moving with a constant speed over long distances. It means we find there are some vehicles which are moving with a constant speed for a long distances or over a long distances. then for a long duration. Also, when they are going to move, or they are going to move with constant speed over a long distance, also they will require more time. It means more duration of time. Okay. So, whenever there is a long distance, they will require long duration of time. Then, if the speed of an object moving along a straight line keeps changing, its motion is said to be non-uniform. So, read children what it is. If the speed of an object moving along a straight line, whenever there is a object is moving in a straight line. So, when what happens there? So, whenever these objects are moving in a straight line, then these objects are going to change its speeds, or line keeps changing. Okay. If the speed of an object moving in a straight line, they are changing its speed. So, its motion is said to be non-uniform. So, it means whenever there is a change in a speed, whenever they are going to cover a distance in a particular time, that is called as a non-uniform. And on another hand, what it is given? So, on another hand, an object moving along a straight line with a constant speed is said to be in uniform motion. So, whenever there is a, some objects can move, see, some objects can move in a straight line with a constant speed. So, as I told you that after 5 minutes they will cover 10 kilometer, then again after 5 minutes they are going to cover 10 minutes, again after 5 minutes they are going to cover 10 minutes, like this. Okay. So, they are keeping their speed constant. Okay. So, these objects are going to keep their speed constant. It means they are going to cover particular or the exact distance in a particular time after similar duration, or in a similar duration. Okay. So, it is given here that on other hand, an object moving along a straight line with a constant speed is said to be uniform motion. It means it is having a uniform, it means a constant speed, that is why we can say it is a uniform motion. Then in this case, the average speed is the same as the actual speed. So, whenever there is a constant speed is there, or whenever there is a uniform motion is there, that uniform motion, because of that uniform motion, what will happen? Whatever speed we decided for this vehicle or for this object, it will remain constant. That is why we can say what is the average speed is exactly same to the actual speed, because here we can say in non-uniform that speed can be increased, sometimes speed can be decreased, but in this uniform motion that speed is going to remain constant. Okay, whatever duration is there, whatever distance is there, that speed is going to remain constant. That is why average speed and actual speed can be same here. Okay. Then we can determine the speed of a given object once we can measure the time taken by it cover a certain distance. So, in 6th standard you learn about this. So, whatever speed is given of an object, we can measure the time taken by the cover or certain distance. If suppose it means sometimes speed is given, so we have to measure time and distance. So, two numbers, it means sometimes we should have to calculate speed, then we needed time and distance covered. But if suppose we need to calculate distance, so time and speed will be required. And when we have to calculate time, that time, speed and distance will be required. So, we learned these things in our previous class. So, let us move to our next point, 13.3, measurement of time. So, in measurement of time, if you did not have a clock, how would you decide what time of the day it is? Okay. So, you know that when that life was started, initially there were no clocks. Okay. So, how they can get what is the time in those days? So that is asked here, that if no clock is there, so how you can decide that what is the time at the day, or at the night also we can decide. So have you ever wondered how our elders could tell the approximate time of the day by just looking at the shadows? So what our parents can do, or what our elders were doing, so they can look at the shadows and they can tell us that what exact time is there. So whenever there is a sun in the sky at 12 o'clock in afternoon, so that shadow can be exactly above that object, any object, okay. And whenever there is a sun at the 9 or 8 in morning, so it will exactly opposite to the sun, and whenever there is at evening, so it will also exactly to the opposite to the sun. So like this, by these shadows our elders can measure what exact time in daytime, okay, but at night we cannot decide this. Then our ancestors noticed that many events in nature repeat themselves after definite intervals of the time. So what our ancestors, it means the people or human beings long year ago, okay, or in a previous in a initial time when there was life started, okay, after that. So whatever human beings are there, these are called as ancestors. You know, you learn in a history and also in a geography. So these ancestors noticed that many events in nature repeat themselves. So what happened there? So some events it means some particular things are there which are happening after some times, okay, and they are continuously experienced all these things. So whatever changes or whatever events in nature repeated continuously or day by day, so these intervals and also these events they mentioned or they observed. And what examples exactly, or what events are there exactly? So for example, here it is given that they found that the sun rises every day, okay. So this is the event. So what is the event here? So rising of sun. So whenever there were our ancestors, they observed that sun rises every day in the morning. So whenever there is a sunrise, there is a morning, we know. So they also observed that whenever there is a rising of sun, it is a morning time, or it was a morning time. So the time between one sunrise and the next was called a day. So they decided every day they observed that at particular time sun is rising, and after that sunset was also there. So sun is rising and sunset was also there, and in between these you can see the daytime and also a night time. So they decided that when sun is rising in the morning, and again when it is going to repeat this process or repeat this event, so they decided that whatever time in between these two sunrises, it is called as a day. So they decided, so we will call this a day, okay. So difference or the event in between or time in between this two rising of sun, it is called as a day. So similarly, a month was measured from one new moon to the next, and after that they started to calculate, we can say, or to measure these events or the particular time of these events. So how they as they decided how the day is there, like this also they decided a month, and then month was measured from one new moon to the next. So one new moon, whenever there is a new moon, it means we know that size of this moon is every time changing. So, whenever there is a whole moon, and after that whole moon, whenever they will get a next whole moon, that period they decided as a month. Okay. So, whatever there is a measured, whatever measurement of month, it is decided by the size or a new moon there. Okay. So, whatever new moon is there, by this they were going to decide this month. Then a year was fixed as the time taken by the earth to complete one revolution of the sun. So, like this, day by day they were observing, they were experiencing all these things, and what happened after some time. So, they got to know that, or they came to know that after some particular time what happens. So, this earth is going to revolve around the sun, and also earth is revolving around itself, and like this some scientists discovered that how this earth is going to revolve around the sun, and after this research then they decided that a year was fixed. Okay. So, that decided that earth is going to take a particular time to revolve around the sun, and in between these there were some seasons they can experience. Okay. So, some seasons are there, and whenever there is a repetition of these seasons, they started a new year. So, like this, by their experience and the change in their events in nature, they decided, or they came to know, or they discovered, or scientists discovered the day, then time of a month, or period of a month we can say, or what is the exact time of a year. So, like this they discovered, and they used to all these things. So, often we need to measure intervals of time which are much shorter than a day. So, here it is given, often we need to measure intervals of time which are much shorter than a day. So, again whenever there is a daytime, so we should have to make its parts. So, again we decided to make its intervals. Then clocks or watches are perhaps the most common time measuring devices. So, have you ever wondered how clocks and watches measure time? So, how these after some days or after so many years, scientists discovered this unit and this device which is a clock. So, you also wondering that how this clock is working to know time. Okay. So, the working of clocks is rather complex, but all of them make us of some periodic motion. So, whenever there is a first clock was discovered, so like us, these ancestors also got an amazing idea or surprised that how these clocks can work. So, whatever working of this clock, it is a very complex process, but if you will try to understand how it can work, so it will very easy. So, it will be very easy, but all of them make us some periodic motion. One of the most well known periodic motions is that of a simple pendulum. Okay. So, whatever that periodic motion, it is called as a simple pendulum. So, children, we will stop here. Okay. So, it is given simple pendulum, whatever motion is there in a clock, but this concept we can decide today or discuss today. Okay. So, this concept whatever it is given, that working of clocks we will discuss in our next session, because it will require more time. So, now today in our today's session what we discussed, that how we can calculate or we can get a speed of any vehicle or any object. Also we learned that how we can use that formula of speed whenever we want to get a exact idea of speed of any object. Okay. And we discussed here, so how was the measurement of time in a history, or we can say how our ancestors were measuring time. So, today we will stop here. In our next session we will continue our next point. Thank you, students.